Good afternoon. This is Tuesday of Holy Week, and so I want to continue in reflections from the Heidelberg Catechism. Today is question 38. Why did Jesus suffer under Pontius Pilate as judge? The answer is, though innocent, Christ was condemned by an earthly judge, and so he freed us from the severe judgment of God that was to fall on us. The reference here from Scripture is in Galatians 3:13. Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us. For it is written, "Cursed is everyone who hangs on a tree." This question and answer speaks directly to the curse of death that was put on Christ. Now, he knew that it was coming. In fact, he was born to die, and he knew that. While the disciples were reveling in the triumph of going into Jerusalem on the triumphal entry, Jesus knew what was coming. I rather like the way that Cotton Patch Gospel, the musical, puts this in song. Of course, in that show, Atlanta represents Jerusalem. And so there's a song entitled "We're Going to Atlanta," and it has the disciples singing, "We're going to Atlanta for a hoedown. We're going to Atlanta, don't you know? We're going to Atlanta for a bright light showdown. Sure enough, it's going to be a show." Meanwhile, Jesus is reflectively singing, "What does Atlanta mean to me? What does Atlanta seem to be? The fears I fear are never gone. The things I know are coming on are not so nice to look upon so closely. That's what Atlanta means to me." Jesus went in triumph on Sunday. But in the back of his mind, he always knew what was coming. He knew that his entry into Jerusalem would be followed by his suffering, even to the point of death. Pontius Pilate, as an earthly judge, merely represents the ultimate judgment that fell on Christ. Pilate didn't know that he was playing a part in the salvation of the world. In fact, Pilate had a cameo role in the cosmic drama that unfolded in Jerusalem. In Acts 2, Peter, preaching a sermon after Pentecost, says this man, Jesus, was delivered over by the predetermined plan and foreknowledge of God, and you nailed him to the cross by the hands of godless men and put him to death. But God raised him up again, putting an end to the agony of death, since it was impossible for him to be held in its power. Friends, judgment and death were necessary for Christ so that we might be delivered from judgment and death in our future if we know him by faith. This week is a good time to fix our eyes on Jesus and be thankful for his sacrifice on our behalf.